Once upon a time, in a village nestled among emerald hills, lived a young girl named Anya. Anya was known for her bright eyes and a curiosity that always seemed to land her in a bit of trouble. One day, while wandering further than usual from her home, she stumbled upon a clearing. In its center stood an ancient banyan tree, and beneath it sat a monk in deep meditation. His presence, both still and somehow radiant, drew Anya closer. She'd seen monks before with their shaved heads and saffron robes. But there was something different about this one. He seemed to glow with a quiet peace that both fascinated and soothed her. Mustering her courage, Anya approached. "Excuse me," she squeaked. "Who are you?" The monk opened his eyes, a gentle smile touching his lips. "My name is Brother Thanat," he replied in a soft voice. "And who might you be?" "Anya," she said. Then, because silence felt awkward, she blurted out, "My mother always says I ask too many questions." Brother Thanat chuckled. "A good sign of a curious mind, Anya. Tell me, what question brings you here today?" Anya hesitated. There were so many things she wanted to know, about the world, about herself, and about the strange feeling of discontent that sometimes gnawed at her from within. But instead, she blurted out the one burning in her heart. "Why does it feel like something is missing? Like I'm waiting for something, or someone, to make everything okay?" The monk nodded, a touch of sadness in his eyes. "Many of us feel that way, Anya. We place our hopes for happiness outside ourselves, in possessions, in relationships, or in the notion that someone else will swoop in and rescue us from our troubles. But won't they?" Anya's voice held a child's desperate hope. Brother Thanat paused. "The Buddha taught a different path, Anya. He said, oneself is one's own refuge. How can another person become the refuge of another person?" Anya frowned. That sounded awfully lonely. Seeming to read her thoughts, the monk continued, "It's the most difficult truth to accept. No one is coming to save you, Anya. But it's also the most empowering. No one can save you but yourself." "How?" asked Anya, the word barely a whisper. Brother Thanat smiled. "That's not a question for today, little one. But I can tell you the Buddha compared it to a journey. He didn't claim to be a savior, but a guide, a teacher, pointing towards the path. And what if I don't want to walk the path alone?" Anya asked, a small tremor in her voice betraying her fear. "You're never truly alone, Anya. We all walk our own paths, but kindness, compassion, those light the way for all of us. Now the sun is setting, and you must return home." For weeks after, Anya couldn't shake Brother Thanat's words. She watched her mother fretting over chores, her father toiling in the fields. Was this endless chase for a better life truly the key to wholeness? Inspired by a strange certainty, Anya began venturing to the clearing each day. Brother Thanat taught her to sit quietly, to simply observe her breath, her thoughts swirling like leaves in a storm. At first, it was frustrating. But slowly, Anya discovered a silence within, a stillness that felt like a hidden treasure beneath the chaos of her mind. It wasn't that her problems disappeared. The village bullies were still mean. Bad weather could ruin a harvest, and sometimes the emptiness would creep back in. But Anya was changing. She learned to untangle herself from her runaway thoughts, to find moments of peace even in the midst of difficulty.